Did you understand?
Hey, I got chased from that spot. Was it to make room for you, or are you supposed to move too?
No, I'm just not allowed to talk.
Not that I wouldn't gladly move for you.
And I for you. Hearing a public input that has to be with you guys will be about 15, 20 minutes anyways. Okay. There'll be a pledge allegiance to the flag, there'll be some boring stuff, and then there's two rounds of public input. Agenda items, which is you, and then that's going to take a while based on who's here. And then there's another round of public input that is not agenda items. Yeah, you guys and I and everyone else, you get your say about 20 minutes or so minutes. Did you all fill out your green slips? For those of you that want to talk? Okay. Because Mr. Bray will call an order, so he'll announce your name. You'll go up to that podium over there and say your piece. You have 4 minutes. By the way, I'm the name of I live in Switzerland Township, and I'm running for vote in 17, and I support the cause. I would appreciate your support me or half when you see my name on the ballot.
Okay. I thought somebody was trying to get our attention.
The young lady, this is my title, she'll be running with. She also believes as I. Okay.
have Director Sell lead us in a flag salute. Please rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to call this meeting to order. Roll call.
All members present.
Thank you. I'd like to also make an announcement that the board will meet in executive session immediately following this meeting to discuss privileged and confidential legal advice with the solicitor and to address issues pertaining to collective bargaining. Motion to approve the minutes. All in favor? All opposed? Any abstentions? It passes. I'd like to make a motion to adopt the agenda.
Glenn, I'd like to add something to the agenda.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion that the Northern Lebanon School District donates $25,000 in total to the fire companies located within the school district and service district.
Second. Discussion?
I think
Oh, discussion? It's just an
wherever
addition.
you add it to the agenda.
Is that we go under service, property and service? Do I have a motion to adopt the agenda with change? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Passes. Administrative reports. We have Dr. Melissa McInerney.
Actually, Mr. Rizzo is going to go first tonight.
Okay, mixing it up on us.
Good evening. My name is John Rizzo. I'm the principal of Jonestown Elementary. Before I present, I'd like to introduce our athletic director, Mr. Yavich, who has a couple important points about athletics.
Yeah, if you don't mind, just take a minute. I just wanted to give you a quick update on what's happened since the last board meeting, because a lot of stuff has been happening. In the girls' basketball, since the last board meeting, they placed 5th in the district tournament. They qualified for the state tournament, and they won their first round in the state tournament. Tomorrow, they're going to be playing in their second round. Their record is currently 27-3, which is a lot of wins for the basketball team. Coach Battistelli wants to take a second and say thank you to the board and his girls.
Hi everyone. I'm Megan Brandt. This is Zoe Zerman, advisor for all juniors and members of the Northern Lebanon Girls Varsity Basketball Team. And we'd like to take a minute to thank you for all your support during our season. We especially appreciate the charter bus for our last Saturday game. We enjoyed the comfort immensely. And according to Coach B, it helped us win. We would like to open and invite all of you to our state playoff match tomorrow. State playoff game tomorrow at 7:30 again at Milton Hershey against Lancaster Catholic for the 4th time. And as some of you may know, there are only 3 losses of the season are to Lancaster Catholic, so it's a big game. We hope to see everyone there, yelling as loud as possible. And thank you for all your support through our successful season.
In addition, Zoe was 1,000 points at the last basketball.
And I just wanted to take a second also and thank everybody that was involved for getting us the charter bus. all I can say is that it just made an otherwise awesome day that much better. The kids were so excited to walk onto the bus, and they were having a blast looking at the TVs and all that kind of stuff. And it just made a great day even better. We went out for lunch before the game, and got back in, and like that, they were unconscious. So they slept. We got there. After we won, everybody was happy. We went to Shady Maple, and not just us, about 60 people were there. They followed us from the game and went. And it means a lot to me personally and all these kids to know how much you guys support them, and just the comments from the community and different things it's been spectacular. And we're going to try our best on tomorrow to make sure it doesn't end. But one thing I can guarantee is these little kids they'll give everything they got for our high school. Thank you.
With the wrestling team, again, since our last board meeting, brought in 2 of the awards that they won. They won in before it was team districts that they won and team states that they qualified for. Now it's for the individual wrestlers. And based on the individual wrestlers, the team won the section tournament, first round. They won their section tournament, and then they also won another district. So now they were also district. They're actually district champs a few times this year, the wrestling team. And what's kind of neat at the district tournament, there's 14 weight classes. They actually had 13 wrestlers placed in the top 6. 13 wrestlers in that category. And then at regionals, they ended up placing 3rd, and we had a record of 7 wrestlers qualified for the state tournament. So we have 7 wrestlers starting on Thursday for a state title. So that's just a really good accomplishment. And I just wanted to take a minute and share those things that happened. Thank you.
Dave, John, can I quickly say something? Coach Battistelli.
Yes, dear.
See, you can tell I was his principal at one time. You see that? Are we down to what, 16 teams in the state now?
Yep.
That is absolutely awesome. And I don't know, there's a crowd here tonight, but this man is blessed with having every kid back next year. There's not a senior on that team.
That's right.
And I am so proud of you. I'm proud of those kids. And to be in the top 16, that is awesome in the state of Pennsylvania. I congratulate you.
Okay. We have 2 presentations tonight, 2 brief presentations. I'd like to, for the first presentation, introduce our elementary phys ed teachers. Mrs. Linda Cole and Mr. Greg Gray. They're going to come up and talk about something that's been going on in the elementary buildings and all of the buildings that's been pretty neat and special. So I'll hand it over to Linda and Greg.
We're doing something new this year. It was brought to us by Dr. Bell called Snag Golf. And it has been a great experience for our elementary kids because most of them haven't had the opportunity to play any golf other than mini golf. So this equipment is geared specifically for elementary. And we've had a golf pro working with us, Mr. Andy Signer, and he's been fantastic. He's been coming in, working with our classes, working with us. And these kids are getting an opportunity to get a lesson from a golf pro for nothing. And you can't beat that. I mean, I explained to my students that if their parents sent them to a golf course, they would have to pay for this opportunity. So I'd like Mr. Signer to come on up, and he can tell you a little bit more about the program and where it comes from and how it came to us.
Good evening. I'll try to make this as brief as possible. First of all, my name is Andy Signer, and I'm the golf professional at Pine Meadows Golf Complex over on Route 343. I am a member of the PGA of America, In the PGA, there are 41 sections, and obviously our closest section is the Philadelphia section, and in that there are 860 golf professionals in that section. The reason I'm here this evening is to explain the program that we brought in and give a brief demonstration if we have some time. Back in December, I contacted Dr. Bell about a program that the Philadelphia section is running. It's called a Golf in Schools program. Through this program, I come in, help teach the phys ed teachers how to teach the kids and give them an opportunity to learn the game of golf. This program, I think, is phenomenal because it brings golf into the kids that may not have been able to in the past. And also, in this program, it has life lessons that you are taught. A couple of the things about this equipment that they brought up is not cheap. It's very expensive. There is probably about 150 pieces between the two, at least. The cost on that is about $3,500, and because of me in the Philadelphia section, there is no cost to the school district at all. So this is all free to kids and the teachers and everything. In the state of Pennsylvania, there are only 9 other school districts that have this program in effect. So we are one of 10 school districts that have this golf in the schools. The equipment, as I said, is called Snag Golf, and that stands for Students New at Golf. I've spent numerous hours the last few weeks volunteering and helping out Mr. Gray and Mrs. Cole in their classrooms teaching the kids. First of all, I've enjoyed it more than I thought I could. I've tried junior camps in the past and it's been a headache, but the kids have been outstanding. We've been teaching 5th, 4th, and 3rd grade. For this program, like I said, I feel it is a win-win for the school district. First of all, it was presented to me, if you're introducing soccer into the phys ed class, you don't have a pro soccer player coming in teaching the kids how to play soccer. So golf, you do have a pro golfer. Going forward after this, there's a bunch of projects we can do at minimal to no cost. You know, there's after-school programs, there's a junior golf league, and it is great for the community to get all the kids involved. A few of the life lessons that we're touching on is honesty, respect, courtesy, responsibility, setting goals, obtaining help, and managing stress, which I think we can all use some of that. These clubs, they are not your average golf club, okay? So for those of you that have played golf, you know it is a lot smaller club, it is a lot more difficult. For kids, best thing to do is have something big, make it fun. They're using these clubs with a tennis ball, and the kids are just having a blast at it. To teach the techniques properly, the grips are color-coded, tells you where to put your hands on them. A couple of the drills that we do use. This is a clock, okay? You have 12 o'clock, 1, 2, 3, all the way down. For each area that we're working on, the putting, you have a time frame where you need to putt the ball, from 7 o'clock to 5 o'clock. Chipping, 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock, and on through. As I said, the kids have been absolutely outstanding. The best thing that happened was I was in the East Hanover school the other day, and after the station that we had set up, one of the kids was telling the other kid, "Oh, I've never played golf before. This is really fun. I can't wait to learn more." So to me, that was absolutely worth it. Greg has a slide, but before he does that, does anyone have any questions on the program? No? Okay, you want to show the slide? As you can see, the putters are obviously bigger. We have the station set up where they're putting at targets. There's some cones. The tape on the line helps them with their feet at address. That's one of the targets you aimed at. And that, as I said, was the circle. Once again, I want to thank you all for giving me the opportunity to bring this in. And if any of you have kids in the 5th, 4th, or 3rd grade, I hope they're enjoying it going forward. Thank you.
All right, thank you guys. For the last presentation, I'll be quick, I promise. We did an event at Jonestown, but it was part of all the elementary schools that I'm going to talk about tonight. Oh, is it up there yet? Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Let's start. I'll talk and remind you guys. As he starts, I'll talk a little bit about an event that we ran this year for the first time. Again, it was hosted at Jonestown Elementary. Just some basic info I'm going to give you tonight. We entitled it Parents, Preschool, and Pizza. And we'll talk about some of the goals. I'll show you some pictures, the turnout, and some of the things that went into it. The event ran on February 25th. Again, this was an event that it was at Jonestown, but all of the district was involved in this. The goal of this event was to, as you can see up there, it was to inform parents about opportunities that were out there. Specifically, we were trying to target families that had children between the ages of 3 and 5 years old. So we had some families that attended, and we'll talk about some of the reasons why, but they attended, they may have had children that were already in the school system, that were already in this district. We had some first-time parents, young parents that were new to the school readiness idea. So it was a great opportunity to kind of hit on all of those different types of goals that parents and families were looking for. We provided a place for parents and educational vendors to connect. I'll show you some of the vendors that attended. Again, the goal was to get families together, build relationships with district personnel, build relationships with vendors in the community, in the district, that could, in the end, help build kindergarten readiness. This is separate from kindergarten registration. We kind of piggyback kindergarten registration off of preschool, Parents, Preschool, and Pizza. Just an overview. We ran for an hour and a half in the gym. We had 12 vendors that actually RSVP'd and they showed up. I'll show you a list of the vendors in a second. Had a ton of support from the staff in the building and in all of the elementary schools. Obviously, a big thank you to Dr. McInerney and Mr. Saylor, they were kind of behind the scenes throughout the whole event, serving pizza. I think it was over 200 some slices of pizza we served. We had 4 out of 5 of our kindergarten teachers there. We had our reading specialist, Katie Webb. She was there. We had our school nurse. We had our guidance counselor. I know some of these people are here tonight. We had Allie Gosh, our social worker. Overall, the thing that I'm proud of, that I know the administrators and the staff that help, that we're most proud of, we had 165 people show up to this, which was kind of mind-blowing, and it kind of set the stage for the future. Now we know what to expect. I was at a kindergarten transition conference a few weeks ago, and I was talking to an administrator from Palmyra, and they were telling me about an event that they run similar, and they had 25 to 30 people show up to it. Now, I did say to this Palmyra administrator that I don't know what you serve, but we serve pizza. We're planning on serving pizza. So did that play a role? Absolutely. But in the end, it was a great turnout. We had 58 families. We had staff that went around and really put a lot of time into getting raffle prizes. We raffled off 28 prizes, gift cards to a lot of local businesses. So overall, great turnout, had a lot of great opportunities. These were the vendors that attended. Again, we sent out as many invites as possible to local preschools, local daycares, any educational and social agency. Some of the top ones you see are district preschools. We had the Lebanon YMCA there, Lebanon County Head Start, Lebanon Family Health Services, the IU13 Early Intervention Program. We had a representative from Capital Blue Cross. So again, a lot of diverse vendors and resources for parents. And now I'm just going to show you some pictures. This is what the gym looked like at the start. I think our kindergarten teachers were doing a presentation at this point. Mrs. Webb was doing a presentation. I think she followed up the kindergarten teachers, or you went before the kindergarten teachers. And again, providing resources, a ton of handouts, a ton of ideas to build kindergarten readiness. I learned a valuable lesson here. We had, and I did not anticipate that crowd. We had an idea, but when we actually saw it being a first year program, we were going to expand it a little more next year. You can see it was very crowded. Again, a lot of good feedback, a lot of good opportunities for families. They pretty much assembled through there, almost like a job fair, and they were able to talk to the vendors, talk to our staff that were there, and gain valuable resources. Tracy Smith, she is not only a PTO parent, but she also works for early intervention. She had a table there. Again, Lebanon Valley Health Services, local preschool. Our kindergarten teachers were set up there. Again, a lot of information, a lot of tools for parents. A lot of parents walked out of there with, writing resources, handouts that were going to build proficiency. I had a lot of positive emails from parents that were actually very thankful for what our staff did, what our kindergarten teachers provided. We have Nurse Wendy Klein providing some health information. There's Allie and Libby. Again, to have a social worker and a guidance counselor there at an event like that, we tried to hit every angle possible that would help, help provide families with things that could make their transition to kindergarten or their even transition to preschool better. So just some thank yous. Again, a lot of people went in this nutrition group. Kindergarten teachers, Katie, obviously Wendy, Allie, Libby, Mrs. Royer, she's back there. She's a saint. She put up with me for a week for this event. So Mrs. Royer, if I didn't say thank you, I'm going to say thank you again to Mrs. Bowles, Mrs. Cleese volunteered their time to help. And the Jonestown PTO had some volunteers. So overall, I think it was a valuable event, something that hopefully we can build on for the future, and pretty much it. So thank you.
I would just like to say that to me, this is a dream come true. I think you are doing amazing things, and with the kindergarten center, this is really what it's supposed to be, and reaching out to those families. Transition is huge. You said you were at that transition conference, and it's always trying to figure out how to get the parents, how to have them come in, and how to keep them interested, and how to have them feel welcome. And you could see the faces, and I just want to thank everybody. That is amazing.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Good evening. I'm just going to, we're going to give you a little bit of an update for those of you who were here in the fall. Margie Ziegenfuss and Deb Stoker are our reading consultants, so they're going to give you a little bit of an update about what we're doing in ELA.
Hi. In case you don't remember, I'm Margie, and this is Debbie. And we want to thank you for some of your time this evening, and we, in addition to everybody else, are trying to keep this on the great side. Tonight what we'd like to do is, back in November when we came, we gave you the rationale and an outline for the way that this project for curriculum mapping was going to proceed in the district. And tonight we'd like to give you a brief overview of what we've been doing with the review, the process that we went through, and then Deb is going to bring you kind of up to date and show you what we're looking to do next, what we're looking to do to go forward. Basically, we've been working with the teachers to write curriculum maps that are providing a bridge between your district curriculum and the everyday lesson plans that the teachers are required to do and do so well, actually, from what we've seen. In the past, English language arts units of study were focused around interest topics, things like my community, all about me, natural encounters, and this focus was opposite or different from what you would find in content areas. In content areas, the things that you find are, like in math, you find subtraction, you find division. In science, you find condensation, you find landmass forms. And so in the switch over as we're going forward with standards-based curriculum, what we're trying to do is to make these units more related to the learning that needs to go on, and that be the focus of what the units are. We are continuing to use the methods for curriculum mapping that have been used in the past, Understanding by Design, Heidi Hayes-Jacobs, but we're adding to those from the information that we've gathered from other states and other districts that have worked on incorporating the Common Core standards, in our case, the Pennsylvania Common Core standards. So basically, we're kind of at the forefront. We call it Mapping 2.0. And the biggest switch comes in the first part of what we're doing with the teachers. Instead of having these units of study that sound interest-based, we have units of study that we worked with your reading specialist over the summer to come up with a list of units for each grade level, and they have titles like phonemic awareness and literary analysis and information text, and they are all standards based. And so what happens when we do this is we created 6 units for each of the grade levels, and we took a look at the standards that applied to those areas of study. And Deb and I put together some working documents for the teachers that had the standards and content that was pulled from the standards that would be taught within these units. And then the teachers took those and they started with the maps that we were doing, and they decided what it was from that content that their students would know, understand, and do. And once that kind of became a clear picture to us of what was going to be pulled in the content and how the teachers were going to be using this. And believe me, they've been working on this. What we did next was we took a look at finding resources that would best address how we would be able to have the students know, understand, and do the information and the areas in the English language arts curriculum. Those resources came from outside of the district, on some of the websites. They come from within the district, the Hub Mifflin resources. There are a large number of resources within the district. You have book rooms, you have level readers, you have scholastic magazines, you have scholastic reading books that are more information texts that have been provided for the teachers. And in addition to that, the teachers have been using their technology to find other resources. So there were a lot to go through for that. Then the last part of the process that we do is to take a look at assessment. Once we've gone through and decided what the children, what our students should know, understand, and do, and what kind of resources we're going to be using, Then we come to the question of how are we going to know that our students have learned and that these have been effective units. And so right now, we have all kinds of products and tests, quizzes, a lot of things that we've looked at for assessment that the teachers are going through. And it looks really different from each grade level, as you can imagine, kindergarten up to 5th grade. But this is kind of an overview then of what the process was. I kind of threw in some of the things we were doing as well. But Deb is actually going to bring you more up to date on what we've been doing currently.
Okay. I'm Debbie Stover, and it's a pleasure to be here. I want to let you know what is currently happening with these units. We have been working with your teachers, as Margie said, in a number of different ways. By April 1st, we will have worked with them for 4 full days of staff development, and also we're meeting with every grade level. We met with them separately for 2 full working days. And at that time, we worked with 2 or 3 teachers who would work on a unit together, and we would guide them and work right alongside of them. We also have had the opportunity to visit classrooms in an effort to get to know the staff and also have conversations about instruction. And Dr. McInerney set up those visits, and they have been most rewarding of all. And we have now finished visiting all of the schools and all of the classes. So what did this work look like? Because it sounds like a lot. We first met with the teachers on August 24th, before school started, to begin the process of curriculum maps. This is a new process, as Margie said, for the staff, and we're learning by doing. Next, we met with teams of teachers at every grade level for half a day in September and October, and we continued working on the poetry unit. Quite frankly, the poetry units were chosen because conceptually it's a different idea. Only 4th grade had ever taught a poetry unit before, but for teachers to do a whole poetry unit was a different, and I will tell you, a challenging unit to start with. So the good news is we chose a tough one to start off with. And they worked on this just endlessly in the fall. In November, we provided a final edit to give to the teachers so they can begin planning. And also, in between this time, teachers would email us. Margie and I would look at Google Docs, and they would put all of the things there, and we would read over it. So there was a lot of back and forth and a lot of working together with them. We also met with teachers on November 13th to answer questions specifically and begin also looking at the units for next year. Conceptually, the units next year are generally going to be a unit on literature, and maybe another unit on literature, and then a unit on informational text. So they'll be outlined like that. In January, the poetry unit was piloted by all the grade levels. It was a great learning experience for everyone involved. And of course, just like any new effort, there were challenges. And this process was a change for everyone. And as you all know, because you've all gone through change, change starts with ambiguity and confusion. But with a lot of thinking and rethinking, we come to the aha moments. And I am very proud to tell you that the Northern Lebanon staff that we worked with in the past week, we worked last week with almost all the grade levels. We're not quite finished. We've had a lot of aha moments recently. We really feel that it's all coming together. We know that there will be revisions going back to the poetry because they've taught it. They know it. They know what worked and what didn't work, and they will have an opportunity to revise that and make it even stronger for next year. Your teachers outdid themselves, honestly, in creating these solid learning experiences for the students. We keep asking ourselves 2 key questions over and over again because we're all about continuous improvement. So what went well and what do we need to continue? And then on the flip side of that, what didn't work as well and what do we need to change and make even better? And so that's something that we're doing constantly. Therein lies the beauty of this work. This work is your teacher's work. Northern Lebanon teachers, I think, should feel very proud of this because it supports their professional reflection on their instruction, and also it's for their students' learning. And what we're creating is a flexible learning document so that we can improve it. During our visits to the schools, we heard many positive comments about how the students responded to reading it. When we spoke with your teachers, we knew how much the students had learned about poetry and how much they loved it. When Margie and I would go into a room, we tried to melt into the wall. We weren't there to interrupt or interfere or anything like that. But one class we walked in, we're trying to stand there quietly, and this little girl is sitting there, she looks up at us and she goes, "I am a poet." So I thought that spoke volumes about what she was doing. We also heard teachers tell us that students have a better understanding of figurative language. And they're now pointing that out in other language, in other texts that they're reading. And so that's been a plus. There was poetry writing in across the grades. So they not only heard poets, but they were also writing, obviously grade appropriate. What you would write in first grade would be very different than what you write in fourth or fifth grade. The poems we saw were wonderful. One teacher said to us to please come back because they wanted to have a chance to post and do a poetry walk and have all of these posters up of what the students had written. So we went back to see that. Another grade level invited parents to come in for poetry reading because we were encouraging that because we know how much the parents want to understand and know what their children are learning and doing. So I know a grade level did poetry reading. Another grade level did a poetry author study, just studying various poets. And in one classroom we went in, again, we're trying to just be subtle, we're trying not to interfere when we go in, but this teacher said, you have got to see what the kids did. The kids had written a number of poems and they put them in a book. And she said, they treasure these books because I guess each child had their own poetry book of their own writing. And so she invited us to go look and see what the children had written, and it was awesome. So I think what we got to see kind of speaks volumes about the Northern Lebanon teachers, and your kids are benefiting tremendously. And so we say kudos to everybody.
And I second that on that, and just, has just been a real pleasure to go through the classrooms and to meet with the teachers and to see the learning community that is here in Northern Lebanon. We had another day on January 18th where the curriculum committees were meeting, and we met again to do some writing, and we started to look at, in addition to what we call the standards, what the teachers have been teaching in terms of skills, their phonics, their spelling, their grammar, and how that would work into the units that were going across the year, and how that would build one on the other. So we've just completed another week of meetings, as Deb referred to it, and from what we've learned with the poetry unit and the kinds of revisions that the teachers want to make, we took another look at the unit that's going to start the year next year. And we made some adjustments to make it more explicit so that anybody picking it up would really know what the person who had written it intended for them to do, that there wouldn't be some of the questioning that we had with the first unit. And then we also had discussions about the scope and sequence of their skills that we talked about, and started to talk again about the challenging assessments and how that's something that's going to have to be continued to be worked on. Going forward, I think that Deb said it very well. We have all learned a lot and grown from this process because it belongs to you and to your teachers. And so we're learning along with them about the needs and the things that best address what has to be done in your district. I think I'd like to say again that one of the things that I like about this curriculum mapping work the best is the fact that it provides the teachers the opportunity to really own this, to be able to reflect on it, and to be able to make improvements. It's a flexible kind of living document. It's not like a dead curriculum that sits in a binder. It's really the bridge, that is going to help them be able to use that curriculum and the standards. I guess kind of at the end of what we have for tonight, I'd like to say that, this has not been easy work, but we thought it has been great work. What we've seen has just been great work. And we'd like to compliment the teachers again on their professionalism and the wonderful work that we've seen in the district. We are really incredibly impressed with the way they have incorporated all of the technology into the work we've been doing, but even more so into the work that the students have been doing in the classrooms, into the student learning. And we are grateful to both the board and the administration that you've been forward thinking in addressing the needs of the district in terms of incorporating the Pennsylvania Common Core standards. So we thank you for your time and we thank you for your staff.
Thank you very much. All right, I'd like to go to the special, thank you, Dr. McInerney and Mr. Rizzo for those presentations. Thank you to the administrators, the faculty, and to the sports teams, everyone. Certainly we have a lot to be very, very proud of here at Northern Lebanon. This time I'd like to do the special presentations. The High School Student of the Month for March, the students of the month for March are Caitlin Osler and Isaac Beaker. This award will be sponsored jointly by the Fredericksburg and Jonestown Lions Club, and each recipient will be recognized at a future meeting of the Lions Club. Would Caitlin or Isaac be here tonight? The Middle School Student of the Month for March is Harrison Lurch. This award is sponsored by the Northern Lebanon County Rotary Club, and each recipient will be recognized at a future meeting of the Rotary Club. Unfortunately, Haley Reinbold, our student representative to the board, was unable to attend this evening. So I'm going to move on to old business. Is there any old business before we get on to the public input session? I would like to put something under kind of like old business. Last week, the board had asked and requested that we talk to our solicitor about the upcoming vote that we have on the exonerations and the lawful use of taxpayer money for ventures, very, very worthy ventures like the fire department. Howard will now give us a brief overview of what he found in his research.
Thank you. We were asked to address two questions. First, may the school board excuse the payment of taxes by volunteer fire companies on real estate that they have that is used to generate income for the fire companies? And second, if the answer to the first question was no, is there some alternative way that the school board can contribute financially to the volunteer fire companies in recognition and consideration of services that the volunteer fire companies provide to the school board? The answer to the first question is that the school board cannot pick and choose among its taxpayers which must pay their real estate taxes and which need not pay their real estate taxes. So the answer to the first question is no, the school board can't select the volunteer fire companies or any other taxpayer and say you need not pay your real estate taxes. The answer to the second question, though, is that the school board may continue to provide financial support to the volunteer fire companies in recognition of services provided by the fire companies to the school district, and that's at the discretion and option of the school board. So the school board may make financial contributions to the fire companies, but it cannot do so by simply determining that the fire companies, among all its taxpayers, need not pay their real estate taxes. And to amplify that point a bit further, it's important to understand that it's the Lebanon County assessment office that determines whether real estate is taxable or exempt from taxation. And with regard to volunteer fire companies, to the extent they have property that is used in the fire protection services, such as their firehouse and halls and things of that nature, they are exempt from taxation under the law. And so we're not talking about those types of properties. To the extent a fire company has additional property that it's not using, and it leases that property out as a means of generating revenue to utilize for fire protection services, under Pennsylvania law and various court decisions, those properties are taxable. They're not exempt. And that's the type of property that we were asked to address. Property that fire companies own that are not used by the fire companies in providing their services, but which the fire companies lease out to generate revenue to utilize in their fire protection services. And so again, our opinion is that the school board cannot on its own select fire companies and say that they alone among all taxpayers need not pay their real estate taxes. However, because we understand that the fire companies do provide services to the school district, the school board has the option, if it wishes, to make donations to the fire company in recognition and in consideration of those services. Thank you.
Howard, just to clarify though, if the taxes were, say, just for a number, say 10,000, can we just give 10,000 within a donation?
Well, I think the board needs to determine what it feels is an appropriate amount if it wishes to make a donation. It's really not related to the real estate taxes. It's really a separate determination by the board.
Okay, thank you.
Could I ask a question? Do other school districts that you serve donate to their fire companies?
No one's told us that, but whether they do or not, I just don't know. But we've not previously been asked to address that.
Thank you, Howard, for that information.
Glenn, I had a question. Howard, you said we aren't allowed to excuse them. Is that we aren't allowed to excuse their taxes?
That's right. The school, it's the assessment office that determines if property